What's up, guys? Daily Dose of Lean, Taiichi number 1. You are a cost. First, reduce waste. Man, right in between the eyes, out of the gate, very unfamiliar to a Westerner if you don't understand. He's saying, you are a cost to the company. Your salary costs the company money, especially if you do not directly add value to your customer, meaning that you don't touch the part, you don't provide the service, right? If you're an accountant and you work for a car company, you don't touch the car. The customer does not care about you in accounting. They care about their car getting made. That means that accountant, they need to really reduce waste because they cost the company money. They cost the customer money. If you are middle management, upper management, you need to be thinking, hey, I don't actually physically touch the part. So what I should do is I should figure out how to make it easier for my guys. Can I create a strong visual control system? Can I get Kanban running and operational for my guys to not ever run out of parts? That's your job. That's what he means. Again, straight between the nose from a Western audience. Probably hard to accept. You cost your company something. First, reduce waste. Taiichi number 2. First, say I can and try before everything. What does that mean? Well, it's pretty self-explanatory, but there are so many, it's so easy for any time anyone in a company comes with an idea to say, oh, I can't do that. Or your parents to say, oh, you can't do that. That's not a thing, right? Somewhere in the West especially, we have lost the ability to be creative and say, no, I can do that. I will do that. When you say, oh, we need to get this production order cut down, or, oh, man, my house is a wreck. I need to figure out how to be able to clean it up and keep it clean. No, you say, first I can, and you try. When you try, you will then uncover things that you did not know before. When you try to cut the lines down, oh, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and try to move this machine closer to that other one. Well, you can't do that. Well, why can't I do that? Oh, I don't know. Is there regulations in the way? Are you missing hoses? Do you need a water line? Do you need an air line? Do you need power run? Because that is something that you've now uncovered. So first say I can and try. You know what? What will I need to move this machine a little bit closer? That will cut my steps by 3 steps an hour. 3 steps an hour times 24 steps, or times 8 hours a day is a lot. Times 251 working days out of the year. It's on the screen now. Look at that number. That's massive, guys. First say I can and try before everything else. Lean Taiichi number 3. The workplace is the teacher. You can only find answers in the workplace. What does that mean? OTJ, on the job training. But here's a great example. I've got a beehive behind me that may have nothing to do with your work, unless you're a commercial beekeeper. My beehive has taught me that bees wanted to live there because I set them there and then they did something. Well, you might say, hey, all these widgets that I bought, all of these machines that I bought should fit in the space that you have. But you won't know until you actually try to install them in each of your locations. You might say, you know what? Let's standardize tools. I'm going to standardize to Ryobi tools in all of our property locations. Boom, lo and behold, our missile silo in Kansas doesn't have a Home Depot nearby. It has a Lowe's, which means that our standardization has broke because we don't have an easily available Home Depot to buy Ryobi tools at. I could A, force our company to go ahead and keep our standardization, or B, which is what the route we decided to do, actually say, you know what? Let's go with Lowe's brand Cobalt while we're there. Why? Because we did not know about that defect until we actually try to implement. Only the workplace is the teacher. There are things that you can only learn by going and testing it and trying it. Go try that out. You know what? This punch press kicks off a lot of dirt and I have to constantly sweep it. You're not going to learn that by being in an office. Go out there, go and see what's going on. Serve your team, serve your crew. When you find that dirt on the ground, start asking questions. Why is it like this? Oh, there's a hole in the guard. Why is there a hole in the guard? Can I put a piece of cardboard over that hole? Oh, look, the cardboard worked, but it wore out. You know what? It wore out after a week. Let's put a piece of metal in there. And then that might stop the issue. The case in point is you're never going to get that far if you don't go to the workplace to actually learn what's going on. We've got Taiichi Ohno's number 4, do anything immediately. Starting something right away is the only way to win. Well, what's that mean? It sounds like you're gonna jump on it and get her done, as Larry the Cable Guy would say. Why is that important? 85% of the time in every company is spent in queue waiting for something to wait on something. In fact, there's probably a really good chance that right now there's something that you could be doing that you thought someone else was waiting on, and they're actually thought that they're waiting on you. So start something immediately. Don't procrastinate. Think about, a home example. If I'm gonna go, I'm finishing my dishes, I'm finishing dinner, I'm gonna walk up, I've got the sink and the food's still hot on the plate. If I wash it right now, it's gonna be one dish, one plate, not a big deal. If I did it right then and there. No, if I batch it, if I put it in the sink and I wait till tomorrow and the next day and the next day, now it becomes a big chore when it was something small before. There are so many things that you're like, okay, Sharon's waiting on my email, and so is Bill, and then Bill's waiting on Sharon to get my email also. Well, now I'm the holdup. And you have that sense of dread in you. Oh my gosh, I gotta send this email. Oh, it sucks. You know what? I bet you if you got that email filled out, done, and sent off, it wouldn't take that long. It wouldn't take as long as you were thinking it was going to. And your whole day's opened up after that. You don't have that sense of dread. So do anything immediately, starting right away is the only way to win. We got Taiichi Ohno number 5 coming at you today. When you start something, persevere with it. Do not stop until it's done. Again, this is a Japanese philosophy, and once you start something, you should continue it on. That doesn't just mean for big things. For small things. I'm gonna give you a little example. There's an incredible company out there called Seating Matters, and they have a phenomenal example of follow the process all the way through. All right, so one of the things that their guys did was they got new welding masks. Well, the new welding masks ended up having a cartridge for their breather. Well, what did their people do when they first got the mask? They were incredible. What they did was they opened the masks up. They then found a spot for the cartridges. They then set up a Kanban system for the cartridges so they would never run out. They then created a space for them and a strong visual control. They persevered with it to the end. They followed the process all the way through. They didn't be like what most companies would do. They get the box, they open it, maybe they throw the trash away, maybe they don't, so that's as far as they get. They start using it, then later, with no thought to what happens later down the road. What happens when the cartridge is changed? Is there any systems and processes in place? There's not. Guys, when you start something, persevere with it. Do not give up until you're finished.
Did you know that 98% of you aren't subscribed? Please, if you found this video entertaining, educational, like, subscribe, let me know in the comments what you want me to do. I might just be crazy enough to do it. Back to the show.
So Taiichi Ohno number 6. Explain things in an easy to understand manner. Repeat things that are easy to understand. Einstein said, if you can't explain it to your grandma, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, guess what? That is so true. Taiichi Ohno is basically saying, you know, these consultants, these fancy pants people with college degrees, and they're all like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And it's all BS. I've been to tons, hundreds and hundreds of manufacturing facilities. You do not need to make something complicated. If you're saying things with all these engineering jargon and words to make things difficult just for the sake of showing off, then it's wrong. Make you can easily understand it. Here's a great case. I use this often when I'm talking to, a lot smarter people than me. Bankers, construction people, lenders, who knows what. And, the city, government, and I'm just like, hey, you know what? Can you explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old? let's just take it. Let's just say that I'm a 5-year-old. And you know what? They instantly are like, oh man, I can do that. And they explain whatever they were going to say in English, in very basic terms that anyone can understand. We can now talk about the real subject. And don't be afraid to try this, guys. So again, if you're going to explain something to your guys, don't come at it from an ego-based, don't come at it from you have to be precise-based. I'll remember one thing that I was taught when I was first entering the workforce. If you ask an engineer what time it is, sometimes an engineer will go on and on and on how a mechanical watch works and all the crazy things, but that's not what they asked for. They asked for the time. Make sure you explain difficult things in an easy to understand manner and repeat things that are easy to say. It'll serve you well. Taiichi Ohno's precept number 7, waste is hidden. Do not hide it. Make problems visible. What does that mean? Well, it means, there's the very surface level. If you know something's wrong, say something. If you see something, say something. But that's not what he was talking about. No, he was talking about something more specific. It's going to get all under the skin of lots of folks because they think they can't make it. Mr. Taiichi Ohno was talking about inventory. Inventory is a problem. There's inventory behind me. It's revealing to you the problem that I have a spending problem. No, inventory is a problem because it hides problems. What he was saying was, one, you go, imagine you're on an assembly line, there's inventory everywhere, you actually can't see the cars, you can't see the people. If someone's behind it, they get crushed, you won't know. That's an issue. But a more common issue is you're using inventory to mask your sloppiness. What's that now? What do you mean by sloppiness? I'm not sloppy, Hugh. Yeah, you are. If you got inventory, you're sloppy, and that's okay. You need to know about it so you can deal with it. So, what's an example of that? Taiichi Ohno was talking about inventory in that you use inventory to hide process issues, right? If machine A is actually having an issue or about to go bad, it might be slower or faster. And what does that mean? It means that you will stop your production line. So the answer is hide that problem with inventory. I'm just gonna get a whole bunch of extra inventory to make sure that we don't have this problem in the future. Instead of actually finding out by reducing your inventory, finding the machine that's causing that issue and addressing the machine. Maybe a tool bit needs to be changed out. Maybe that machine's about to go actually bad and then completely stop your line. Well, maybe you have the chance to catch it now. So, Taiichi Ohno, for this one, do not hide waste, do not hide problems, make problems visible. He was talking about inventory. You should reduce your inventory until you hit a problem. Find the problem, address it. Don't do it drastically. Reduce it a little bit, find a new problem, right? Imagine that there's an ocean out there. Under the ocean, there's a bunch of rocks, right? And then your business is sailing on top of the ocean of inventory. The water's inventory, the rocks are problems. Reduce your inventory until you hit that first rock. When you hit it, get rid of that problem, address it. Then clear sailing, reduce your inventory a little bit more. When you have inventory, you have hundreds of thousands of dollars tied up at any point in time. And those dollars could be used to pay your salary, keep your lights on. So it's best to address your problems, guys. That's Taiichi number 7. Number 8, Taiichi Ohno. Valueless motions are equal to shortening one's life. This one's pretty easy and straightforward. I love it. Rich, poor, healthy, sick, no matter what country you're from or in, we are all given the same 24 hours a day. It's what we do with the time that matters. Being busy just for the sake of being busy does not mean that you are being useful or effective with your time. Don't just have valueless motions, right? I think you know what I'm talking about. You've had those days when you're like, man, I was so slammed today, but I don't know what I actually accomplished or got done. I was just in meeting to meeting to meeting. Valueless motions are equal to shortening one's life. That time, if you spend it, it's gone forever. You just wasted that time forever. Do a good job. Do that extra thing. If you're not at work and you'll give 110% efforts at work, right? Use your brain at work to figure out ways to add even more value right up front. If you're doing something in your personal life, for a hobby, for coaching, for the Boy Scouts or whatever. Don't do unnecessary busy work. Moving boxes from here to there, rearranging stuff. That may seem value. It just depends on what. You may be very busy all day doing that, but did it help accomplish the goal? Was the goal to have a good time with the rest of the troop that week? Was the goal to get that order out? Or was the goal just for you to make as much in your specific department? Because that could be the issue right there. Guys, again, valueless motions are equal to shortening your life. Taiichi number 8, re-improved what was improved for further improvements. Very straightforward, but I can't tell you how many companies I've been in and how many departments when you first go through the lean transition, you're like, no, I got my area, it's good. I cleaned my drawers out last week. Well, people are constantly learning, people are constantly growing. You have the ability to continuously improve. Re-improve what was improved for further improvement. It's not that you made an improvement that's good. It's like turning a flywheel. You push on it a little bit, then the next day you push on it a little bit more. That flywheel starts to creep forward. You push on it, you push on it, you push on it, right? The next guy comes in, they're helping. You're just constantly doing a little bit of improvement every day, and it's not overwhelming. So many people I know say, oh, I cleaned the stock room. Oh, I cleaned my machine. Oh, I made the improvement. There's no more improvements to be made. No, by the time you get a month of lean and improving under your belt, you can go back to your initial improvements and find so much more. You're gonna have that skill set built to think, man, what else am I missing? Is there something better I can do? Or go help someone else in the next area that you might be able to see some ways they don't, or have them come to you and re-improve what you've already improved and ask you the questions. Hey, why do you do this here? Hey, what hand do you use? When you use that hand, how often do you do that? Are you coming from the left side of that thing or the right side of that thing? Do you use the back at all? Do you have to walk around it? So on and so forth. Re-improve what was improved for further improvements. This is Taiichi number 10, which is, experiences are given to everyone equally, but only some people will turn those experiences into wisdom. How many of you know someone that's so freaking smart in your life and you're like, dang, he or she does not have any common sense. They dumb. Well, that's an example of having experiences and not turning them into wisdom. If something happens in your factory, if something happens in your life, something happens in your Boy Scout, Girl Scout troop, some of the people will take and learn from that. Other people won't learn from it, and they'll just keep on making the same mistakes. Now, the most successful people don't even learn from their own mistakes. They'll learn from other people's mistakes. They're gonna learn, they're gonna be humble, they're gonna look at their situation. Really what he's saying is think about what happened. Learn from it so you don't make that same mistake again. Guys, that's Taiichi number 10. Join us next time for Edward Deming's 14 Points. We'll see ya. Ah!